All right, guys. So for this, I plotted, it's going to be the green figure. All right. So I took these coordinates, plotted on the coordinate plane. Like we said, because it's a fraction, it's a reduction. So that triangle w prime, x prime, y prime looks smaller, and we did our job. So moving on to the next one, I want to move on to number 5, because number 5 is just a little bit tricky, but it's really not that bad. Okay, we're just going to go back to using the definition and multiplying by the scale factor. So for this one, guys, right off the bat, when I said we're going to multiply and divide, if you take D here, it's at 0, 0. Little math common sense. 0 times any number, 0 divided by any number is always going to be, guess what? 0, 0. Don't even have to do any calculation. Now, for the rest of them, we are going to go through, okay? So if we move on to the next one, okay? So E is at 2, 4, okay? So right here, E is at 2, 4. What we're going to do is K is 5 halves. That's a little bit different, okay? That's not like 1/3 over here in number 6, where we know that we can really just divide by 3 for all 3 of those values. This one's 5 halves. So for this one, what I'm going to tell you to do, so if we're finding E prime, okay, when we're doing this, we're going to take this 2, we're going to multiply by 5 halves, okay? Now, when you multiply by 5 halves, what you need to do, and the important part, is you need to put that 5 halves in parentheses. So if you have when you don't have 1 in the numerator of a fraction, you can't just divide, okay? So for this, like I said, we're going back to the original kind of problem where we're just multiplying. Again, you can multiply by 1/3 in number 6 or divide by 3. For number 5, what I'm going to tell you is to multiply by 5 halves, but put that 5 halves in parentheses. So when you do that, all right, 2 times 5 halves is going to give you 5, and 4 times 5 halves is going to give you 10. So E prime is going to be at 5, 10. So moving on to our next one here. Okay. So if we are doing F, so F is at 6, 2. So to find F prime, what we're going to do, like I said, multiply by 5 halves, multiply by 5 halves. So when we do that for F prime, we're going to get 15 and 5. So 15 and 5. And then for the last one, G, so G is at 4, negative 2. So when we find the coordinates for G prime, all we're going to do is, again, multiply by 5 halves and multiply by 5 halves. So when we do that, all right, for G, we're going to get 10, negative 5. Remember, just put that 5 halves in parentheses in your calculator, okay? Otherwise, it'll do the order of operations in a funky way. So lastly, we're going to get 10, negative 5. So those are our coordinates right here, and you could plot them on Desmos and check your answers. All right, so guys, go ahead. What I want you to do is just go through 6, 7, 8. All right, they have the original pre-image calculated for you. So all you have to do is graph the image and check your answers on the notes key on Canvas. So go through and solve those. Now, the last one I want to kind of talk about is number 11 and 12. So this one is a little bit different. All right. So what you have to do here is I'm just going to pick 2 points. All right. And pick you can pick easy coordinates. So for number 11, I'm going to pick D and D prime. Okay. So this is what we have to figure out what we're going to do. So we are going from D, which is at, and if we get that, it's going to be 0, 6. And then we're going to D prime, which is 0, 2. Now, like I said, 0 multiplied divided by any number isn't really going to help us. But if we look at the other coordinate, okay, our pre-image y value is 6, and then our D prime value is 2. All we're going to do for this, if we're identifying the scale